Hello everybody and welcome back to a weird time in the UK from when I usually upload, but this is when the embargo is done, so we're here to talk about Rush Apex Edition on PSVR2. This one launches in a couple of days and promises wingsuit action. Now I never played Rush on PSVR1, so Apex Edition on PSVR2 had a lot to live up to in terms of the hype I was hearing about the original. Did it live up to that hype? I'm going to be straight with you, yes. But we're going to talk about it today in a bit more detail. What should you be expecting from this one? What are the best modes? How does it look? What are the haptics like? All will be answered shortly. After we thank our patrons and members, and you subscribe if you feel like it, let's get straight into this. Now, Rush Apex Edition feels like a classic PSVR1 title, because it is. But it's been modernized in a couple of ways. Essentially, you throw yourself down a mountain in a wingsuit against, I think, up to 12 other players, either bots or online. And you race 3 checkpoints, trying to get as close to the ground as possible to build up boost, fly all the way down, hit that finish line, and then parachute your way down to base camp, where you can chill until the race is over. That is the gist of Rush, and you have multiple modes you can do that with. There are 4, including what you'd expect, like time trial, open world races, that sort of thing. And you can play either offline or online. In online, I'd recommend getting a group of friends together if you can to try this one out, because it's genuinely so much fun, but we'll talk about that more in depth in a minute. As a PSVR2 port, Rush Apex Edition is looking good. There's a bit of aliasing and that strange wobble that we had in Into Black. That got fixed in Into Black, but it seems to still be here. If you stand really still, keep your head completely straight, and just look, you'll see a bit of wobbling going around the edges of the screen. That is not noticeable at all while you're playing though. There is no moment in Rush where you should really be stood there staring forward with nothing moving around you or you not moving at all. So I literally did not notice this until somebody else online pointed it out to me while we were playing. The game has some aliasing on more sharp metallic objects, like in the plane lobby, but once you get into the actual stages, it looks pretty damn crisp. It runs at 90 on reprojected and 120 on the Pro, I believe, and this feels buttery smooth. We need non-reprojected frame rates for a flying game like this, and luckily Rush has it. The colors pop of each of the maps, especially in the volcano environment. The lava looks so good here, and it also means because of the contrast of the PSVR2, we can have levels set at night which don't just blind you completely. Haptics are utilized here as well. For some reason in my first play session they weren't triggering, but once I restarted the game they were completely fine. They're for things like brushing close to objects, crashing, which I did a lot of, and for example on maps where storms are going on, when lightning kicks in and you hear that thunder, you'll feel it in the head haptics as well, which is super cool. There are a couple of maps to fly through. I want to say about 5 maps. They're all pretty different to each other, like a snow biome, mountain biome, forest biome, volcano biome, that sort of thing. And comparing it to original PSVR1 footage, you can see the clear upgrade in terms of LOD pop-in and stuff like that. It's as good as this game can look. As for the gameplay, you're controlling through various methods. You can either turn with your head, with your hands, or with a combination of kind of both. I opted for turning with my hands because it felt as immersive as it can get in terms of like throwing my hands up and being able to feel like I'm really skydiving or wingsuiting. But I think the faster method of the two was turning with your head, because you can be a bit more precise. You activate your boost with the triggers, and these have haptic support. And there's also haptics for other things around the map as well. For example, when you're sitting in the lobby, you can pick up a little Nerf gun and shoot the people around you. This is what we spent most of the time doing in multiplayer, to be honest. And these have adaptive triggers too. Most other games will not bother with a small detail like this, but the Binary Mill are quickly becoming one of my favourite developers on PSVR2 for attention to detail just like this. The sense of speed is really felt here. You do have a wingsuit overlay, like a mask, but I opted to turn that off just for the clarity of the recording that you're seeing right now. But either with it on or off, you feel that speed. Honestly, it feels like you're really flying down the mountain, and it is one of the most terrifying experiences in VR that I've had when a tree comes hurtling towards you. The AI are also pretty decent. There's no interaction in terms of trying to hit each other out the sky or anything like that. This isn't like 90s extreme skiing where you can punch each other down the slopes, but it is really cool to look and see them flying alongside you, going for overtakes, and they genuinely can be a bit difficult in later stages. They also will backfill your multiplayer lobbies, so if you're only playing with 1 or 2 friends, you will have a bunch of AI joining you to make the race feel a bit more alive. While I really enjoyed free flight and just kind of cruising around, and I really enjoyed the normal races and time trials, and also appreciated the customization as well, being able to choose your wingsuit color and pattern, and you unlock more as you go. I went with red because, you know, jammy is red. The real crux of the game that I enjoyed the most was the multiplayer. We spent about 1.5 hours to 2 hours playing one night with me, Brian, Reese, Miles, whereas Loop of the Game Cat, a bunch of people. I think we got about 10 people in the lobby at some point, and that was just so much fun. This is really where the game stands out, and if you can get a lobby together or do a meetup on a Discord or something in the communities, then you'll really have a good time, because the multiplayer is optimized to be fun. The only downside is when you start a room, you have to let everyone filter in and then begin the races. Once you begin the races, at least with us, it didn't let anybody else in by that point. But once you're in a lobby, you turn on voice chat and suddenly everybody has proximity chat with each other in the game. So if you're flying down a mountain and somebody's chasing you behind, you can hear them from behind you. When they go crashing into a mountain and spawn in at the base camp below, you'll hear them over the radio now that they're dead. And it simply is so much chaotic fun to take these routes with friends and try and beat each other in a bit of fun competitive racing. I seriously did not expect to enjoy this game that much. And sure, it's quite simple on the surface, it is a PSVR1 port after all, but the upgrades that they've done to it, and the fact that no other PSVR2 game is really offering this sort of gameplay, really makes this one quite special. It feels like an instant classic in terms of multiplayer. Sure, it might not last you tens of hours in multiplayer, but there is a decent learning curve to it and it is so much fun. Audio is decent here, the rushing of the wind is fantastic to hear going past, and especially that proximity chat is such a gem to have in this game in the online. The soundtrack is, as Miles put it in our session, like royalty-free Monster Cat music, which is fair enough, it fits the kind of vibe of the game. You'll see it in my gameplay video, which should go up, I think, the day after tomorrow. I recommend checking that out for kind of the vibes of the multiplayer, because it is really fun. But it is that like royalty-free dubstep sort of stuff. And the voiceover can be a little bit grating with the same lines over and over again, but to be honest, the game is so much fun that I don't really care. Overall, this is a PSVR1 port through and through, but the mechanics do feel great still, to this day, and the visuals have had an overhaul in terms of resolution and LOD pop-in, and also from what I've read from the original Rush on PSVR1, this version seems to have a bunch of bug fixes as well. I'm reading about bugs here on the old reviews that I just simply didn't run into in the PSVR2 version, so it's had a bit of a facelift, and I'd really recommend checking it out. I've been really enjoying it over the last couple of days, and I can't wait to dive in and play some more over the coming days too. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.